Andersen.
All right, guys. Well, what is going on? I think it's a GoPro type of day for filming because we're gonna need some wide views of the shop. It is a mess, and I mean, I guess not too much of a mess. It's just there's stuff everywhere in boxes that needs to be organized. So today's video, we're gonna walk through all the cars and give you guys kind of an update. It's been a long time and it's been so sporadic that you guys are probably wondering what's going on with certain cars. So we'll do a quick walkthrough of them. Might take a couple drives. We're gonna organize this basically by chassis. We're gonna make a dedicated shelves for each chassis, maybe some universal shelves for miscellaneous parts. We'll probably dive into a little bit of what's going on over here and just have some fun together, hang out. We'll enjoy the nice weather right now. It's finally not like scorching hot. It's a nice temperature. So that said, let's get into it. And I think to reward you guys that are always watching and checking in, even on a video like this, where maybe it's not some crazy, we're doing something epic type of video, I want to show you guys some things that we have planned. I posted a poll, if you guys saw, voting for what you guys want me to focus on for the rest of summer. The overwhelming response was, you guys want me to dive into this thing, and I want to too. So that's going to be the goal. The next few weeks, honestly, I want to get this motor in that car as soon as possible, because the sooner that happens, the sooner we can get diving into all the wiring and everything else. And I just want to figure it out. I want to get that thing going, and this needs to go in there to make that happen. Bunch of other parts ready for it too, so we can take a quick look. But that said, go vote on the poll if you guys want. I put that. If you want to see the CLK get built a little further, the C55 has some stuff planned, which I'll show you guys here in a second. C43 and C36 both have pretty much full manual swaps that I have here ready to go if we choose to do so. So that's it. Let's open up one of these before we start organizing. I guess we can make a mess again. Okay, and quickly, here's the stuff planned for the CLK. Got a UPD fixed 80mm pulley. Got some other stuff from Ben's Force, little belts, injector rebuild kit. We have newer EV14 550cc injectors, and then the Thermalnator gaskets for both the supercharger and the surge tanks. So that will definitely do. We just got to carve out time. Me and Josh have been trying to carve out time, like when is a good schedule for both of us to align so that he can tune the car properly as soon as I get those mods done. So we have kind of an order of operations planned, but you'll see that when you see it. But over here in one of these boxes, this is a part I'm storing for Petio from Kangaroo's team. So we won't get into that. This is parts I just dropped. Okay, transmission filter rescued. Velcro gaskets. I can't remember what's in this box. Oh, that's Odyssey battery. I'm going to be using that in the 190 actually. Okay, in here, this is one that I really want to show you guys. All right, so like I said, this is a reward for those that are loyal to the channel and want to see. Wrong box. Okay, that's the seat bracket from 190. I guess that's a sneak peek also. Seat bracket from Garagistic for the 190E. I got so many boxes, I don't even know which box is which. I think it's this one actually. Okay, this is the correct box I wanted to show you guys. And I put these in here. These things are crazy. So right here, I'm not gonna show you guys the whole thing, but intake manifold spacers from a company we're now working with, Hydro Race. They're out of Poland, and these are basically about 1 inch, 1.1 inch spacers that we're going to use on the C55 to essentially flip the manifold 180 degrees. And that way it'll allow our throttle body to be in the front, and we'll have kind of a ram air intake. And these are supposed to help a lot with like low end torque, just adding that volume into the intake process to the motor. So I'm super excited to try them out. A lot of people use them just for like turbo applications because it allows you to put the throttle body in the front, so it's a lot easier to build, you know, a turbo setup, which it's been crossing my mind more and more as we go across this journey. And Max Speeding Rods also just hit me up the other day asking me if I wanted to work with them. And they make turbos, and they make pretty decent turbos actually for what they are. So who knows, but I'm gonna try it out. We'll see what we get with it. It's actually gonna be one of the next projects I'm diving into. That's gonna hang out in the garage while I'm also working on the 190 in between time. But I think this will be a fun one, and it won't require a whole lot. The cool thing about it is we're not gonna have to use the spacers on the Nuke fuel rail setup anymore. The only reason we had to is because the connectors were too close to the valve covers without them. So with this raising up, we won't have to do that. Like I said, the throttle body will be in front. We're gonna have to adjust some of our lines over here and whatnot, but I mean, for the most part, besides a few extended electrical connectors, it's pretty straightforward. So we'll do that once we're ready, but I just want to show you guys a little sneak peek. These are absolutely awesome pieces, billet pieces, and we're gonna be throwing in those soon. So got a couple transmission mounts from Creative Steel, one for the 190 with the harder black polyurethane, which is I think around an 80A durometer. The one that they send as their normal one is around a 60A, which works just great for automatics. The only reason I do the stiffer mount on the other one is because chassis mounted shifter. You want basically as solid as you can get for the engine mount and transmission mount. And I guess since we're here, I'll show you guys another thing. There's actually a thing that could be yours. All right, so real quick, I'll show you guys these 63 Motorsports oil filter caps. You guys know I already have one on the C55, which is like a dark blue. They actually made these for me specially, and they wanted me to choose somebody to give one of these away to. So what we're gonna do is be on the lookout. I'm gonna put up a community poll at some time, basically asking for a vote as to which one you guys want me to run on one of the cars. Which one doesn't get voted for, or you know, the loser, I guess you could say, I'm gonna be sending out to one of you guys. So you could use your strategy. You could try to vote for the one you don't want, and you know, that way the one you want gets less votes, or you could try to just vote for the one that you want to see ran on one of the cars over here. Can pretty much run them on the C55, the C43, CLK, the ML. So let me know what you guys want to see as far as those go, but keep your eye out. And here I am making a mess with what we were supposed to be organizing. But aside from that, I think that's where I'll leave the sneak peeks for now. I think it's time, let's go move some cars around and get started on this organizing process that I've been kind of procrastinating on. All right, one thing to point out, you guys, about living at the new place, and a few of you guys caught it, a few of you guys commented on the videos about it. I don't have to suffer in the forest of trees at the old house anymore and have the cars get amazingly dirty within 24 hours. I literally haven't washed the car since it got here. I basically just sprayed them all off with the pressure washer to get rid of like all the, you know, tree remnants out of the crevices in the trunk and the engine bays on all the cars. And that's all I did, and then just pressure washed around them, and this is how they look. They're not spotless at all, but you guys would see what they look like at the other house. It's just, it was crazy. It was too hard to keep up with, and that's something I'm so thankful for over here at the new place. Like, they basically just get as dirty as any normal car would get sitting outside, not just completely demolished by trees. So it's definitely gonna help the longevity of these things and the paint on them. So very excited about that. I do plan on doing an episode where I basically take each one by one into the shop and clay all of them, ceramic coat them, just try to really protect them, buff them, and yeah, just really get them protected so that they can live nicely out here, whatever ones are in rotation outside of the garage. So that said, this thing, I haven't driven it much. I basically drove all these cars over here once, and then after that they've kind of just been hanging out. So it's pretty much the same as you guys last saw it. I haven't done anything to engine bay or anything like that. It's just been chilling. I did take our cousin Joey for a drive when he was up here in this thing. Got a little bit of a lifter tick from sitting. what else was I gonna tell you guys? The ABS ESP light has come on a few times, but it's kind of been hit or miss. I do need to get an accelerator actuator at some point to try to alleviate that. But I mean, it doesn't do anything crazy. Even when it does flash, it basically just makes ESP not usable. So that's how this thing is going. I'm gonna go see if this thing's low on oil. Maybe that's why it's ticking, but yeah, let's check it out. Okay, oil level is fine, so let's just go give it a few revs, take it for a quick spin, and I'm sure the ticking will go away. It's typical M113 thing if you leave them sitting like that. Let's see. Alright, well, ticking has already gone down quite a bit, so I'm sure it'll be gone by the time we get done with a little drive. This thing, guys, I do feel like when it's in reverse, I can hear a little bit of noise from the transmission, which is typically a sign they're getting worn out. So this is a car that if I do keep, I probably will end up manual swapping it. I don't plan on putting a 5.4 in it, just because I don't know, I feel like the C43 it fits well with the 4.3 liter M113. But you never know, there's always possibilities. But I think as is, it's a well-suited car, and I love this car, don't get me wrong. This is like a dream to even own this thing. But out of the whole fleet right now, if there was going to be one that ends up going, it most likely would be this car, just because I don't have quite the attachment like I do to the other cars. Like it's an awesome car. I love it, and I wanted one of these for a long time. And then after a while, especially once I got the C36, I kind of was very content with that, and didn't have any desire to get a C43. This one just kind of fell into my lap, and I felt like I would be wrong to not become the stewardess of it, so I did, and helped Mike out. You guys know the video on this thing revealing it. You know, I was trying to help him out and also get a really cool car. The ticking's already gone, by the way. So that's what it is. That's why I got it. It wasn't a car that I really desired to get, or it wasn't something I was looking for. So for that reason, it is the one that's like tempting to sell if I do decide to sell something. But on the other hand, it's such a good car and was such a good deal that it's hard to let go of. So it's not something I have in any way, shape, or form committed to do, but it's just putting it out there for you guys. If I do end up selling one of the cars, this one might be the first. So if you are interested, you can try to let me know now. That way I'll have people in mind if I do end up making that decision. But it's kind of, I don't know, a car like this would sell for $8,000 to $10,000, and that money could really go a long way towards the new shop. I could basically buy a lift setup, buy a cheap, you know, pickup truck, and be really set up for whatever I needed to do in the future with all the cars and the house. So it's tempting, but again, not something I absolutely need to do or have committed to doing by any means. So it's such a nice car though, just to cruise. Like it's just a really nice example of a 202 and a C43. And I love 202s, you guys, so it's hard to even think about letting this one out of my hands when it's in such a good spot right now and in such good shape. But it's the thing that I've learned in doing all this. I could keep them all, but it's not smart to keep them all. And the reality is, when the fleet is smaller, it's definitely easier to maintain all the projects and different things we got going on. So I don't want to be a hoarder by any means. I already am to some extent with all the parts and stuff I have. But yeah, you just got to know when to let go and when to be okay with letting new opportunities come your way. That's it. It drives fantastic. The only thing it needs right now is motor mounts. So I'll be doing the Creative Steel motor mounts and transmission mount on it fairly soon. Josh from Creative Steel just sent those, so they should be here on Monday. A new set for this and the CLK, so they'll both be going in soon, and be able to really rip on this thing. I have aspirations to rebuild the intake manifold. I'm just considering if I'm gonna go pick up a spare out of a pick and pull, or if I'll just pull and rebuild this one. So we'll see what I do, but yeah, besides that, I'll rebuild the injectors while I'm at it, intake manifold, engine mounts, and then this thing is pretty much good to go because we already took care of the cooling system. We've taken care of all the little kind of flaws that it had when I got it. Did the brakes, brand new caliper setup and rotors, pads, stainless steel lines. We did the wheel stud kit, and besides that, this car is already really set up. It's got great suspension, H&R sway bars front and rear, so there's not much else to be done to it besides the inevitable of manual swapping it if I do end up keeping it for long term. So we'll get to that point once we do, but it's a good car, good car. Still can break the tires, and the ticking is gone already. Just needs to be driven. All right, that's it. It's pretty hot, so let's go back home, get into the other cars, see what we got going on. Hey, I knew I needed a drink. A warm Spindrift. All right, we're actually gonna leave this one outside because I gotta back the C55 out, and I can tell you guys right now, I don't want to sell this car. Even just a quick drive like that, it reminds me very quickly. It is such a good car, such a nice car. It is amazing to drive. It feels so good, but we'll never know. So I don't want to sell it. We'll see what happens, but that's a C43 for you guys. It's a great car at the end of the day. It's doing good, don't worry. And like I said, ticking already gone. Just typical M113. If it sits for too long, sometimes they'll do that. They just need to get pressurized, and goes back to normal. All right, so that thing talked about. There's the M155, by the way, which has been doing great. It's our daily pretty much for our family stuff. The other 202 is our C36 here, and this has been getting basically majority of our daily driving because, believe it or not, this is one of the only cars we got right now with AC, and blows ice cold. It's got the classic 90s Freon in it, and it just works really well. So the CLK also has AC, but it doesn't work great, and we don't use that car for, you know, normal family duties anyways. This doesn't have a motor, so we're not getting AC out of that. The C55 has AC, but I have it bypassed. And the M155, if you guys remember a while back when we did the radiator, I deleted the whole system out of it because it was all kind of thrashed. The condenser was bad, the compressor was leaking, and I just didn't want to deal with it. So I bypassed all of it, got rid of all of it, and I will probably be putting it back this winter. So quick update on the CLK. It's been doing good too. I haven't driven it much since we took it over here. It is just basically waiting for the next version of modifications on it. And I've been looking at track schedules like Bremerton Raceway, Pacific Raceway, to see if there's just some good casual events that I could go do, like a test and tune day with it, make a couple passes, see where it's at, just so we can have some baseline data before I do the 80mm fixed pulley and the other, you know, the Thermalnator setup on it. So we'll see. Hopefully I get a chance to do so this summer. Every summer there's always a goal to take these cars to the track, and then things happen, end up getting busy, whether it's with a build or this summer was moving. So it just always seems to happen like that. So when it's meant to be, it'll be. I really want to make it out to the track, especially with this. I want to go to the Ridge, at least do some autocross or something locally. But man, between life duties, being a dad, being a husband, you know, it's just hard to find time to do something like that, take off for a whole day and go do a track day. So it's definitely something, especially once Maze gets older, and you know, we could probably go do stuff like that together, but I don't want to drag him out to something like that and just have him be sitting around the whole day. So we'll see, but definitely on the goal list. And I know it's been a long time talk of the channel, and some of you guys notice that and are disappointed that I haven't done that yet. And me too. So hopefully we can make it out soon. All right, that said, the C55, I've driven it a couple times. 2 jobs that need to be done on an ASAP, kicking things over. I need to adjust the height of the fuel pump in the bucket. So I figured while I have it out in the driveway later tonight, I'll probably do that, since it'll be cooled off and I'll have space in between outside to get into the passenger side door. And then aside from that, there is a clamp that needs to go on because one of the clamps broke over here. I was using one of the cheaper clamps and they broke, so I got a new one that I can throw on, but we don't need to do that right now. And that intake setup is probably not gonna stay after I do our intake manifold flip. There's a possibility, like I could just raise it and keep it in the back still, but I don't think honestly that I would have clearance to do so. So I think if I do raise it, I would have to move this up front, but I don't know for sure. I mean, anything's possible, I guess, but we'll see what we end up doing. But anyways, let's try to fire this thing up and roll it into the back. All right, let's put you guys out here. The pressure washer has been putting in mad work lately. If you guys got any recommendations on a cheap, reliable pressure washer, let me know. This thing is, I kind of feel like it's on its last days, but it works. So anyways, I'm gonna set you guys here and let's go fire this thing up. I let this thing run for a little bit, fired up first start. That's the benefit of being warm outside. The battery doesn't lose its charge as fast as it normally does. Inside of this thing is dirty. Outside of this thing got washed, but it needs an actual like clay, and I got to hit some areas with acetone because there's a bunch of tree sap left over on it. So all the cars need to be still thoroughly washed and cleaned, but man, I love this thing. It's such a good looking car. And just the way I have it set up, it drives so good, handles so good, and I can't wait for the next few things we got planned for it, like these. And what else? LSD is somewhere. Oh, the LSD is sitting in the closet. I know you guys have been asking me about this and also voting for it. I didn't forget. It's just priorities and time, guys. I gotta try to cycle through the projects in order of operations and in an order that's going to make sense and make it all work financially, time-wise, everything. So this is getting the focus right now. The 190 is getting the focus, so just got to take it in stride. Be patient, trust me, we'll get there, I promise you. All right, that said, I think it's time I start the job that I've been avoiding. We already got the toolbox set up, so that's great. I took care of that, which was a bunch of little trays and boxes that I transferred all the tools over. But pretty much those 4 bins, these 2 bins, that kind of all stays with the motor, but a lot of this needs to go on the shelves, and that means we're also gonna have to reorganize the shelves to figure out what actually needs to go where, label stuff, figure out, it's a mess. So let's make some sense of this so it can make it easier for me to sort through when I need to find stuff. All right, begin the time lapse. Son called me in for an ice block break, so back to work. Well, if you have ADHD, you know my pain right now because I am struggling to get going on this. But before I forgot, I've been looking at the MaxJack Systems lifts, and the measurements on them are showing as basically between 105 to 135 inches apart for the two beams. So I was curious before I forgot to measure, and basically from that wall to right about this crack right here in the cement, which is kind of just lined up with the inner side of the barn door over here, that's around 130 inches, and to about that grease spot right there is about 105. So I think I would be able to make the lifts work in here, but I basically have to put it on this side, and I would have to put it as close as I could to that wall. And we got to test how deep the concrete is in here. We can still make it work. If it's not deep enough, you can use like epoxy anchors and stuff like that. But yeah, just a, sidetrack for a scatterbrained mind right now. So let's get back to the real job. Alright guys, the GoPro is hot as heck right now. I have it on the chargers doing a time lapse. I did want to point out, since we talked about them earlier, those Hydra Race intake spacers, I am going to be selling them for them, and we might even be able to do a giveaway. So if you guys are interested, let me know. And Creative Steel, wanted to remind you guys, you have code Andersen10 you guys can use for a discount if you guys want to order anything from them, which you guys know I always recommend. They are the bee's knees. That's my go-to for anything mount related, and they're just a great company, so I love supporting them. This is what I got going on so far, and this is the rabbit hole I'm about to go down. Basically 201, 202, 203, 209, and then I put cleaning stuff down there in the bottom shelf. Got to pick something else to go on the lower shelf, something smaller, skinnier. I got my space heater, the kerosene for it, gasoline, and then the air compressor. And I put the 203 trans underneath, 203 clutch and flywheel kits, a couple of them, used ones that I probably won't ever use again, to be honest, but for parts and stuff like that, I just keep them around. And then brake setup and manual swap setup for the C36 and 202 underneath that section. So a lot of the stuff from this bucket, or these buckets, are going to be kind of universal or just spare parts. So I'm going to try to give them as good of a home as I can in this section while making sense of it, but it's going to be a lot. And a lot of it, like this bucket for the most part, was something that I just kept alone. So some of these I might just end up storing either on the bottom or up top in these areas. So anyways, nothing else to do but keep going at it. All right, you guys, I'm picking up from where I left off earlier. It's now nighttime. It got pretty hot earlier and I was just tired of it, so I took a break. Basically, we've done our plan to the most part. For the most part, 202 section, 203 section, 209 section, and then I kind of put the headlights and taillights that I have up there for the ML and the CLK. I really don't have a ton of like ML parts, so most of the parts that I have for it are kind of just maintenance parts. There are a few things, I guess, like control arm set that I don't know if I'll end up using because one of them's kind of a dud. But mostly it's going to be 203, 209 parts and a good bit of 202 stuff as well. So next up, I got all these boxes to go through. Like I said, some of these are not going to get all the way emptied out because they're just, you know, things that are going to stay kind of stored unless I ever need them, then they'll be pulled out. But this is my get rid of pile right here. That's the heat exchanger out of the C230 coupe. I have an intercooler over there that we're going to be using, so yeah, that needs to go. And then these are my stock C55 sway bars that I have no idea how I've held on to these for so long, but yeah, I have. So I might keep the front one. The rear one's going to go for sure, or I'll ask if anybody wants them. I'll put them on Facebook Marketplace for like $50 or something, but I have no use for them, so we're gonna go through that. Before I get to these boxes, I'm gonna go ahead and start stacking up our 190 parts over there, since I did use a good chunk of what was in here from FCP Euro on the M111. If you guys didn't catch that video, we did basically all the front serpentine assembly setup, thermostat, water pump, all the idlers, tensioners, etc., and just prepping. And tonight I might even pull the valve cover real quick. Maybe in this video, we'll see. But yeah, we've got most of the parts out of this big box. This big box can go, and I'll just start stacking everything over there. So let's do that first, and then I'll start working my way through those. All right, guys, one bucket clear and all the 190 stuff up on a rack. We're making headway. It's just a slow process. This bucket was majority some 202 parts, and then a few other miscellaneous things. This one is a lot of stuff that I had just put away. These are the boost hoses that I most likely am not going to reuse, but I'm just hanging on to them until I verify that I'm not going to have to reuse them in any way, shape, or form. This has a lot of maintenance items. See all the filters back there, oil filters, fuel sender assemblies from E55s, just in case I ever need for the M113K setups. This one is mostly ECU stuff, and all the stuff laying on top is, you know, fuses and wiring, stuff like that. So all the stuff on top will come out, all the ECU stuff will stay in here. This is a box that I definitely just kind of sit on and keep in the background because it's not stuff that I go to every day. And then this is a lot of air assembly stuff and the miscellaneous parts for everything. So see how much I get through right now. I'm gonna spend maybe, I don't know, half an hour more and then wrap it up. I'm tired of this. But this is all recycle or scrap pile. Nobody claimed this, nobody wanted it, so I don't know if I'm gonna end up keeping it. I don't see a reason why I would keep it. So we'll see. This thing I'll keep around until verify. Again, we're not going to use a stock setup, but that's about it. Let me finish up one of these boxes, and then let's go ahead and finish off with pulling the valve cover on this and seeing what we see. Guys, I have so much random stuff when I start looking through. These are Acer Racing titanium lug bolts for the M155 that I ran for a while. If anyone's interested in them, I would love to see them go to good use. They're awesome, super lightweight and super strong. But you know me, I switch everything to studs nowadays. But if you're a person that plans to keep OEM lug bolts, let me know if you would like these. I can cut you a deal. Otherwise, I'll post on my Instagram story or something, see if somebody wants them, because they're nice. I just don't have use for them. All right, guys, 3 out of 5 buckets. I am mad at that, so I will take it. I'm gonna call it there. These last 2 are fairly easy, mostly just a surface layer of this bucket. I gotta figure out where to put it in this closet. And then a lot of this, I don't know, I'll find a place for it up here. But to you guys, this might look like chaos, but it makes sense to me. Everything is at least visible, and I know that at least if I'm looking for something for a certain car, I've put it on the particular shelf for the chassis, or if it's a more universal part, I've put it on the lower sections or upper section. So yeah, I try to keep it as streamlined as I could. It's pretty much all, you know, like M113K stuff I kind of just organize with the 209 stuff because M113K swap, you know, makes sense. This can go probably in between here because that's from a 124, still compatible with 201 or some 202s or 722.4. I have no idea. I'll probably never use it again and post it on a 500E board forum for the E420 owners, but you know, just goes like that. So let's go ahead and crack this thing open before we call it a night. All right, guys, just unzipped all of these. Should be free now. And just, I think or a tiny one, E8. I'm not a Orca whale. Okay, E8s, and then there's a T30 holding on the ground cable right there. So popping this off. Let's keep these somewhere for the time being. If you guys, was that water that just came out of there? If you guys were around at the beginning of this process, you guys saw me swap these like a gazillion times trying to figure out why cylinder 2 wasn't firing. Went through everything, checked the wiring, all this stuff, and ended up just being the ECU was bad. Had a bad MOSFET inside of the ECU. So yeah, that was fun to figure out, but learned a lot in that process and gained, you know, experience wiring and whatnot. So besides those, I think we're pretty much free. Just looks like a bunch of 10mm bolts, and this thing should pop off. So let's get that off real quick. Okay, not captive. Nut and whoa. That is loose. What the heck? That had like no resistance. What in the world? Okay. Very loose also. These look like they're all the same size. No, maybe not. Okay. Got 2 different sizes so far. So for those not familiar, by the way, the M111 is based on the earlier, what is it, M102 or something like that. And it's also very similar to the M104. It's basically just like a shortened version of the M104. So valve cover design is basically like a mini version of that kind of. Doesn't have the same grommet, but very similar. And my extension wants to keep coming off. Please don't do that. Okay, all of our bolts are free. Basically just 2 sizes, some short, some long. Okay, let's bring you guys in and see if we can pull this thing off. Okay, anything else I'm missing? Little bracketry should not be. Maybe need a little prying. Let's see. Missing a bolt anywhere. This shouldn't have to come out. I'm guessing it's just very stuck on here. Okay, hold on. Let me give it a whack real quick. Okay, it was just very stuck on there. A little bit of wedging on the sides here. Should be free. There we go. Okay, let's grab this thing off. All right. There we go. Okay, inside, no big like clumps of old oil. That's a good sign. It smells decent. And inside of here, this looks great. All the cams look excellent. A little bit of, you know, like just smudge wearing across the lobes, but no actual wear on the lobes. M156, take notes. This is how your cam should look. Just kidding, I love you, M156, but you do have flaws. Yeah, so it's good to see. I don't know why I decided to throw that in this video, but I think I just wanted to do it tonight because I already took everything apart in the front here in the last video. So I will put that back on for now. Safekeeping. And tomorrow, most likely, I will start to strip this to prepare it for paint, because it needs it. It's nasty. It's gonna be tricky. Some areas are very corroded, but I'll do my best. It's just like M104 covers, which I have an extra actually. Same stuff, they corrode really bad. Magnesium alloy compound that they used in these just doesn't hold up to weather over time. So anyways, that's good to see though. One less worry and something to take care of. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the mini update and the shop organization with me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the little sneak peeks I provided. Quick blast in the C43, updates on all the cars, etc. I will have stuff rolling out to you guys ASAP. That is why I am doing this job, because in order to have my brain right to stay on top of all of the different miscellaneous projects and ideas I have for all the cars, I've got to be somewhat organized in the garage to make all of that process go as smoothly as I can. Otherwise, I just start to get like overwhelmed. And then once I get to that point, I'm like, I don't even want to go out to the garage because I'm feeling overwhelmed and anxious, because I know I have so many projects swirling and waiting. And it's just, yeah, it's not the way to do things successfully for me. So had to get organized. Next up, I'm going to get this thing all cleaned up and make a proper list for myself, because this is so outdated. It's not even funny. Don't even have two of those cars anymore. So we need a new one. And actually, I saw something cool. I can't remember whose YouTube channel I was watching. It might have been LZ's, but it was, oh yeah, well, it was LZ's, but it was Drift HQ working in his shop. And they basically made a small whiteboard for each car. And I think that would be a cool thing to add over on this wall. This wall is going to be like basically the banner wall with the Anderson logo, and then all my other sponsor banners. And then I would like to put like, you know, a little kind of work board over here. And that's where I could house, you know, maybe some individual whiteboards for all the cars or something, some type of way to just have a visual of what I have coming up. It can be something like that. There's nothing wrong with all being on one board, but I don't know, just getting ideas. If you guys got any ideas how to better organize my shop and how to make this space as efficient and fun as possible, let me know, because I'm new to this and this is my first time owning a garage and really wanting to make it my own. So yeah, we'll leave it there, guys. Much love. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, I will catch you on Monday. Enjoy your weekends. Peace.